Greetings, Zombie Slayers, Sleepy Jim here. Welcome to my complete guide to Gobblegum for Black Ops 3 Zombies. In this video, I'm going to show you guys in-game effects and examples for each of the Gobblegum, both Classic and the Mega Gobblegum, that we currently have released for Black Ops 3 Zombies. Keep in mind, this is prior to DLC 1. We may get some DLC Gobblegum later on down the track. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys some tips and tricks on the best Gobblegum to use, how to use them solo and co-op, as well as the ones that are probably not so great to use either. And some further information generally related to Gobblegum that you may or may not already know. So if you appreciate this video, please consider giving it a like rating and subscribing if you haven't already. I'm not one of these guys that's going to give a single video for each and every Gobblegum just to milk the views, but this is just information that hopefully will help you guys. Alright, so let's get started. Before we move into the different effects of the Gobblegum though, what I want to talk about is the colors and the patterns that you'll notice on the different Gobblegum, what these actually mean. So first of all, the colors. You'll notice there's blue, orange, green, and purple Gobblegum. So what these actually refer to is the effect type. So with blue, it's a round-based effect for that Gobblegum. The orange ones are activated immediately or in some cases automatically. Green are time-based, and the purple ones are all player activated effects. Now the Mega Gobblegum also have patterns which relate to the rarity of the particular gum. So you'll notice the speckled ones are the common or the Mega Gobblegum. When we get to the swirly pattern, that is the rare Mega Gobblegum, and the more sort of wood grain thin lines pattern are the ultra rare Mega Gobblegum that everyone loves to have. So how exactly do you get the Mega Gobblegum? Well, unlike the classic Gobblegum that you unlock as you rank up and then you have an infinite supply, with the Mega Gobblegum you have to go into Dr. Monty's factory and trade liquid divinium in the vats to actually gamble and get a random Mega Gobblegum. Now, apart from trading liquid divinium in Dr. Monty's factory to get Mega Gumballs, there is also an Easter egg where you can get one free Mega Gumball per game in the Shadows of Evil map. So if you come through here in the canals area to where these 4 lion statues are located and throw a Widow's Wine grenade in the mouth of each of these 4 lions, you will actually obtain a white gumball in the mouth of one of these lions when done successfully. If you pick that up and you take it with you to the junction area, there in the junction area you'll actually find a lolly shop. So we're going to pick up the white gumball here, take it to the lolly shop in the junction area and place it on a plate in the window here. And when you go a full round, you can come back and pick up that gumball. It will have grown to full size and you will be given automatically a Mega Gumball. How cool is that? It is really, really good considering how much liquid divinium you have to use to get Mega Gumballs the regular way. Alright, now let's start on the actual Gobblegum effects themselves. We're going to start with the classic Gobblegums and go through each of these to begin with. Always done swiftly is up first. So this activates immediately and lasts 3 full rounds. You can walk faster while aiming and raise and lower your weapon to aim more quickly. So just for comparison, here is a short clip of me aiming down sights as well as moving while aiming down sights without having the effect active. Now compare that to the effect of always done swiftly, which we'll grab here in a moment. So basically what this Gobblegum does essentially is gives you the same effect of having a stock and quick draw attachment on your weapon. So you can see a definite increase in raise speed, but more significantly a movement speed whilst aiming down sights is definitely improved. And I just can't see too much real use for this in zombies because a lot of zombies players will hip fire anyway. You don't have to aim down sights too much, although I guess if you're camping on the catwalk with a sniper, it could be useful to have a quicker strafe speed to take out adjust your aim to take out zombies coming in through the window on the left to those coming up the stairs on the right. So there are some specific uses where it could be handy, but in the long run probably not the most useful Gobblegum. Although this is quite a popular choice. I notice a lot of people using this one. Up next is Arms Grace. Now this activates immediately and lasts until your next respawn and allows you to respawn with the guns that you had when you bled out. So obviously if you manage to get some pretty sweet guns like I have right here with the XM53, what happens is if you go down and you don't get revived, so you bleed out, so obviously this is only practical in a co-op game, you actually get respawned with the same guns, which is really, really good news. Means you don't have to race around like a madman trying to find the box or get some decent war weapon or whatever to defend yourself when you respawn next round. So yes, definitely in that situation, this could be a very useful Gobblegum to have. Having said that, a lot of these Gobblegums that are the more defensive sort of planning for failure type effects, I'm not a real fan of, and there are probably better ones to have than this one. Speaking of planning for failure, our next Gobblegum is Coagulant. Now this activates immediately and lasts for an amazing 20 minutes in game. And it gives you basically a longer bleed out time. So you have much longer for people to come and revive you if you do get downed. So I'm going to show you guys a side-by-side comparison of the length of bleed out time you get using Coagulant versus the regular bleed out time. I tried to find a spot on the map where it'd be really hard to revive me here playing in a pub match, but I did keep getting revived, damn it! Anyway, I go down again here, and at the top you can see the footage with Coagulant versus the without Coagulant bleed out time. And this is sped up 4 times the regular speed, but you can see at the bottom how quickly my screen's going red, and I'm gone. Completely bled out, but still going with Coagulant. In fact, you get a full 135 seconds of bleed out time using Coagulant versus the 45 seconds of regular bleed out time, which is 3 times the length of time you would normally have for your teammates to come and revive you. So it's pretty awesome if you play co-op to use this Gobblegum, or if you do happen to go down a fair bit. Our next Gobblegum is called In Plain Sight. This gives you 2 activations, and what it does is you are ignored by zombies for a full 10 seconds each time you activate this, and this is a pretty awesome and useful Gobblegum to use. So the effect it has is similar to the zombie blood effect that we saw in Black Ops 2 Zombies, and it can be used for a whole bunch of different things depending on the circumstances in the game that you're playing. So you're seeing me use it here to safely pack a punch twice, even though there's a whole bunch of zombies around. You could use it to revive a teammate. You could use it to pick up a max ammo that you couldn't normally get to. A whole heap of different things that you could use In Plain Sight for. So I like to have this one in my Gobblegum loadout pretty much all of the time for most circumstances. Our next classic Gobblegum is Stock Option. What this does is it activates immediately and lasts for 3 minutes, and it basically takes ammo from your stockpile instead of your weapons magazine, which means that you don't have to reload basically. Stock Option is a lot of fun, especially in maps where you camp, like on the catwalk here in the Giant, but it would have been more useful if it had been player activated instead of immediately activated. Our next Gobblegum is called Impatient, and this activates immediately and allows you to respawn near the end of the current round instead of at the start of the next round. So it's quite an interesting idea, and when I first read the description of this prior to Black Ops 3 coming out, I was quite excited about the possibilities of this one in co-op play, because essentially it would mean that you would have plenty of time, you know, keep a zombie and have plenty of time to get all your perks back, all your weapons and stuff like that, prior to heading straight into the next round if you do happen to bleed out. However, it doesn't really work quite as well as you would imagine. So again, for the sake of science, I'm going to go down here and I'll show you guys when exactly and where exactly I respawn here playing on the Giant with the effect of this Impatient Gobblegum. So here I'm bleeding out, and eventually I do bleed out, and I have to screen watch a while for the team members who are left remaining to kill some zombies. And you would expect the respawn to happen when there was like 2 or 3 zombies left, but as you can see, I get respawned in the middle of a part of the map where the dude is like training some zombies around. There's at least a full wave there, a full 24 zombies in the map. Probably more than that. I suspect that some were still spawning in. So here's another example here where I'm going to respawn in exactly the same place. This time it's not so bad though, because the zombies are more spaced out. So right here, in a moment, You'll see me respawn right there. So exactly the same spot, interestingly, but the zombies are more spaced out, and there's no one like training zombies there, so at least I managed to survive. So with this particular Gobblegum, I would say the idea is a good one, but the way that it's done, like, Treyarch should at least have some spawn protection. Like, in a way, you should be invulnerable for a short period of time when you come back in, or they should respawn you in a spot away from where the majority of the zombies are, or at least, my preferable option would be to wait until there's maybe 2 zombies left in the game, and then respawn you. Because in some ways it's better to just respawn at the end of the round than to use this Gobblegum the way that it works right now, because I would say that there's at least 24, maybe 30 plus zombies left in the game when they do respawn you in, when this impatient Gobblegum kicks in. So yeah, this was a big disappointment for me, definitely one I would not be using at all. Up next is one of my all-time favorite classic Gobblegums, which is Sword Flay. This activates immediately and lasts for 2.5 minutes. And what it does is it enables your melee attacks to do 5 times as much damage as they would normally do. So in practical terms, what this means is your regular combat knife will be a one-hit kill up to and including round 7 if you have this Gobblegum active, and the Bowie knife, if you get the Bowie knife, will be a one-hit kill up to and including round 26, which is just huge, and obviously allows you to build a ton of points by getting those sweet knife kills. Obviously in the later rounds it might not be quite so practical due to how fast the zombies come at you, but it's still a really fun and practical Gobblegum to use. So Sword Flay, definitely worth using in specific circumstances. Another great classic Gobblegum is called Anywhere But Here, and this gives you 2 activations where you can instantly teleport to a random location, and also gives you a concussive blast which knocks away any nearby zombies, keeping you relatively safe. So this is a really practical one for getting yourself out of trouble, especially if you get cornered, as you can see in an example here. Now, usually the random location you get teleported to is fairly safe and away from the zombies, especially here in the Giant where you get teleported to a teleporter. But yeah, this is another great one along with In Plain Sight that you may wish to keep on your Gobblegum loadout at all times. Our next classic Gobblegum is Danger Closest, and this activates immediately and lasts for a full 3 rounds, which is pretty decent, and it has similar effect to Flopper in that it provides you with protection from explosive damage. Now the one exception to that is the meatballs in the map Shadows of Evil will still do you damage even if you have this activated, but there are some really practical and useful applications for this Gobblegum in specific circumstances. For example, if you Pack-a-Punch the starting pistol in either Shadows of Evil or the Giant, you will get explosive rounds, and combine that with the Danger Closest Gobblegum, you have 3 full rounds where you can do explosive mayhem without the fear of blowing yourself up. So that makes doing things like, you know, filling up the eggs for the sword and stuff like that really, really easy and simple when you have this Danger Closest combined with, you know, your Meat Wagon or your Death and Taxes. Our next Gobblegum is Armamental Accomplishment. So this is activated immediately and lasts 3 full rounds, similar to Danger Closest, and it does a bunch of different things according to the description. It allows you to switch weapons faster, recover from melee attacks quicker, reload faster, and use items quicker. So yeah, does it really do all of those things effectively though? That is the question. So that you guys can see if there is actually much difference at all using Armamental Accomplishment versus without, I'm going to show you guys some side-by-side footage with and without this Gobblegum active, using equipment, the knife lunge speed, reload speed, switching weapons speed, and that sort of stuff, and we'll be able to compare this and see if it is actually worth using this Gobblegum. So first up here, using equipment, in this case, throwing grenades. You can see at the top there with armor missile accomplishment active, and below that without. The animation for throwing is almost exactly the same speed. Either way, makes absolutely no difference. Next up here, we'll see the knife lunge animation. And here you can see, once again, it is exactly the same speed. Using some more equipment, the trip mines, almost the same speed there as well. And here we see the reload animation on the Dingo, which has a really slow reload speed. And once again, pretty much absolutely identical speed in reloading with and without this Gobblegum active. So not much help there if you use this Gobblegum. The final one we'll look at quickly here is the speed with switching weapons, and in this case there is a little bit of a difference. You can see it is a little bit quicker, maybe about 20% quicker, using armor mental accomplishment to switch weapons. So whether that's going to be useful for you, maybe if you run out of ammo in one weapon, you can switch quicker to the secondary weapon. Could be a little bit of usage there. But other than that, it's almost like this is a broken Gobblegum. I wouldn't be using this one myself. There's a lot better Gobblegums to put in your 5 Gobblegum loadout slot. Alright, let's move on to the next Gobblegum. So this one is called Firing on All Cylinders, and it activates immediately, lasts for 3 full rounds. What this one does is can fire while sprinting. So how that works exactly is, when you are sprinting in zombies, without this Gobblegum, what happens when you fire is it slows you down from a sprint to a walk. But here's the thing, right? In zombies, you don't want to run towards the zombies. So why would you need to actually fire while sprinting? I mean, you can see me here trying to test this thing out. Sprinting at the zombies while firing. Yes, it works as advertised, but why would you want to? Most of the time in zombies, you actually want to run in the opposite direction to the zombies. And firing doesn't really matter because you can't sprint backwards. So being able to fire while sprinting is not helpful at all. I don't think that Treyarch really thought this one through in practical terms when they came up with this Gobblegum. So, I mean, it might be good if it was in multiplayer, but not in zombies. No, this Gobblegum is not good. Let's move on to the next one. Moving on, our next Gobblegum is Arsenal Accelerator, and what this does is it activates immediately and lasts for 10 minutes and charges your special weapon faster. So as we know, in both maps that we have currently for Black Ops 3 Zombies, Shadows of Evil and the Giant, with more to come, these all have special weapons, as will likely DLC maps, and these weapons actually charge by killing zombies and stuff like that. So this Gobblegum is intended to enable you to activate your special weapon faster. In other words, it reduces the cooldown of the special weapon and recharges it faster for you to use. Now in the Giant, that's not such a big deal because the special weapon is not that great, especially in the higher rounds. In Shadows of Evil though, the special weapon, the sword, is really, really good, and this is where it could be definitely useful if that's part of your tactic, is using the sword, especially the upgraded sword, to kill zombies. So let's do another side-by-side comparison to see exactly how much quicker you get your special weapon recharged again using Arsenal Accelerator versus without. Once again, in the top screen, we have with the Gobblegum active and the bottom screen without. Now keep in mind with this testing, the testing done without the Gobblegum active was done 5 rounds higher, which probably means faster zombie kills, which recharges the special weapon a little bit quicker in comparison. But overall, Arsenal Accelerator did definitely help recharge the weapon faster by about 12.5%. Normally, I would say in a fair comparison, it would be about a 15% faster recharge for your special weapon. Is that enough to actually slot it in your Gobblegum loadout? Well, I'm not so sure. There are probably better Gobblegums to take. But that is the Arsenal Accelerator Gobblegum. Let's move on to the next one. Our next classic Gobblegum is Lucky Crit. Now this activates immediately and lasts for one full round. What it does is improve your chances of activating an alternate ammo type. Alternate ammo being stuff like Blast Furnace or Turn that you get for double packer punching a weapon in Black Ops 3 Zombies. Now, each of these alternative ammo types are really powerful even into the high rounds. In this case, I'm using the Fireworks alternative ammo on my Stellar Screech. And when you actually get the alternative ammo triggered with the critical hit, you'll notice when you're using the Lucky Crit Gobblegum, you actually get a hit marker which has the Gobblegum emblem in the middle, which is a pretty cool effect. It's a little bit hard to test exactly how much of an increased chance you have to trigger the special alternative ammo effect using this Gobblegum, but for me it wasn't really noticeable, so it's probably not one of the Gobblegums that you want to invest in too much. Although if you do have a strategy that relies heavily on one of these alternative ammos like Blast Furnace, then by all means feel free to slot this one. Okay, up next we have a very interesting Gobblegum. This one is Now You See Me. Now how this works is you get 2 activations, and when activated, all zombies will chase you and you alone for those 10 seconds. So obviously this Gobblegum would not be useful solo, but playing co-op, I tried to think of a couple of situations where this would be practical to use. And one scenario that I came up with here, you can see in the gameplay, is if a team member goes down or a couple of team members go down playing co-op, and you want to buy some time, some safety for your other team members to go revive them because you can't be asked, well, I guess you could use this Gobblegum to draw all the zombies away from the down players so that someone can go and revive. Even though you could probably just use In Plain Sight and go revive them yourself, or one of the other superior mega Gobblegums if you happen to have them. Anyway, the only possible other scenario I could think of, and this is stretching things a bit, is if you wanted to draw all the zombies to you so you could get all the points like a selfish bastard. But anyway, this Gobblegum is a bit of a flop. I definitely wouldn't be using this. I can't imagine really anyone ever using this Gobblegum for any reason, but yeah, it's there. So going from one of the most useless classic Gobblegums to probably one of the most useful Gobblegums, period, and that is the final Gobblegum you unlock as you rank up in Black Ops 3 Zombies, Alchemical Antithesis. So this gives you 2 activations which each last for 60 seconds, and what it does is for every 10 points that you earn, you're awarded 1 ammunition for your current weapon. So what this does is basically it trades the points that you're earning for ammunition for your current weapon. This Gobblegum effect works best on weapons that generate a ton of points very quickly. So rapid fire weapons like the VMP are ideal. You can go from having almost like an empty magazine to full ammunition very fast once you activate this effect. Or the Wonder Weapon in Shadows of Evil. You can go from having 1 round left in this thing, popping the Alchemical Antithesis effect, and then generating your entire ammunition reserves back in a single shot. Watch this, guys, right here. 3 rounds left, and I go back to 25 rounds. It's just incredible. To the point of being quite OP in this specific situation. So I would even go as far as to say that this should be your first unlock as you rank up in Black Ops 3 Zombies for your first prestige. But yeah, definitely one of the Gobblegums you should consider slotting in your 5 Gobblegum loadout. Although in some specific situations, like maps like the Giant where you're using traps to get kills, it might not be quite as useful. Okay, so that is all of the classic gumballs demonstrated for you guys. Now we're going to move on to the Mega Gumballs. Some of the most awesome gumballs in the game with incredible effects. Let's get started on the very first of the Mega Gumballs. So our first Mega Gumball is Aftertaste, and this activates immediately and lasts for 3 full rounds. What it does is it enables you to keep all perks after being revived. So any perks that you had when you get downed, you will keep once you are revived. Playing co-op, there's obviously an application here for if a teammate revives you, you don't have to go buy all those perks again that you had when you were downed, and that saves you points and keeps you safe when you're revived. But also playing solo, if you actually use quick revive and you have this Gobblegum active and you get downed, although you'll lose the quick revive, you will keep any other perks that you had at the time you were downed. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that in Shadows of Evil, for example, you can also get revived by the Civil Protector robot. So if you get revived by the Civil Protector with this Gobblegum active once again, you will get to keep the perks that you had when you were down. So it can be useful solo as well as in co-op. Our next Mega Gobblegum is Burned Out, and this activates immediately and lasts for 2 hits. What this does is the next time you take melee damage, nearby zombies will burst into fire. So it is a really fun Gobblegum to use. Is it really practical and useful though? That is a question. Is it worth slotting? Well, let's check out some examples of how this works. So this gumball is a lot of fun to use, but the trouble that I have with this gumball is that it's activated immediately as soon as you take it out of the gumball machine. If it had been player activated, it would have been a little bit more practical to use because it's hard to avoid getting hit by a zombie in the higher rounds when you don't want to be. But as you can see, it's a pretty devastating area of effect that it has, and you can actually take out entire trains of zombies, as you can see. But it's probably more of a fun Mega Gumball to use rather than one that you would actually want to use in some sort of strategy or tactic in your regular gameplay. I did test it against the Magua, as you're about to see here, and let's just say things did not exactly work out for me in this scenario. So the Magua spawns in here in a second, and I take a melee hit deliberately from a zombie right next to the Magua. He's definitely in the area of effect of this Burned Out, but he does not get destroyed. It doesn't even take out his yellow glowing head. So yeah, don't recommend using it for that purpose. Our next Mega Gumball is Dead of Nuclear Winter. A really cool name for a sort of okay Mega Gumball. What this one does is it gives you 2 activations where you can spawn a nuke in the map. So obviously, any situation where you want to kind of, destroy all zombies at once, it's going to be useful for. So in this case, we have a fire sale that we happen to get. So we trigger the nuke, and that allows us to hit the box in peace. Or, you might have some teammates go down and a nuke is going to help you revive them. Unless, the Magua gets in your way in Shadows of Evil. There's a whole bunch of different situations where a nuke could be useful. Obviously, not during round 1 or round 2 when you're trying to build points. Anyway, let's move on to the next Mega Gumball. Next we have Ephemeral Enhancement. So this Mega Gumball gives you 2 activations lasting for 60 seconds each time, and what it does is pack-a-punch the weapon that you are holding. So although it is only a temporary upgrade that you get using this Gobblegum, it could make things easier for you in the early rounds to have a powerful upgraded weapon like the starting pistol to get yourself out of trouble, or just to get through the rounds quicker. What's interesting is most of the time you will just get a regular single pack-a-punch effect. However, the alternate ammo types that you get when you double pack-a-punch a gun, normally, you can actually get using this ephemeral enhancement. If the weapon was pack-a-punched and double pack-a-punched previously, you swap out that weapon and then you get back the normal version of it. When you use ephemeral enhancement, as you can see in this example, you get back the same upgraded ammo type that you had previously. So this only happens one time. If I were to get rid of this Crocuta which is the Cuda basically. If I was to get rid of this and get a new Cuda off the wall and then use this ephemeral enhancement on it again, it would not have the alternate ammo type effect on it. That's just a little interesting thing that I discovered while testing this. Alright, let's move on to the next Mega Gumball effect. So our next Mega Gumball is I'm Feeling Lucky, and what this does is it gives you 2 activations where you can spawn a random power-up. So this could be anything from a max ammo to a fire sale to a double points to a carpenter, whatever the case might be. So this is actually quite useful because although you don't know exactly what you're going to get, you have a couple of chances to try and get something quite useful. Most of the time, you know, something like a max ammo in the higher rounds would be what you're aiming for. Even a double points early on can be useful. So fairly self-explanatory and also fairly useful. Moving on to our next Mega Gumball, which is very similar to this one, we next have Immolation Liquidation. So this gives you 3 activations where you can spawn a fire sale. So that's actually pretty cool considering you get those 3 activations. And if you get this early on in a game, you can set yourself up really quickly with some cheap weapons and some cheap gumballs as well. So again, pretty self-explanatory and quite handy to have up your sleeve as well. Our next Mega Gumball is again spawning power-up. This time it is called Licensed Contractor, and you get 3 activations with this one as well. What it does is spawn a carpenter. So useful. Nuts. But anyway, I guess this is handy if you're going for one of the achievements in the game, Black Ops 3, for spawning power-ups. But not the most useful of gumballs. Once again, very self-explanatory. It will spawn a carpenter power-up, which will board up all of the windows for you. Our next Mega Gobblegum is really useful for co-op play. It's called Phoenix Up, and it gives you 1 activation where you can revive all teammates. And similar to the Aftertaste Gobblegum, all teammates get to keep their perks that they had when they were down. So this Mega Gobblegum is really powerful in co-op because you can obviously revive all your teammates if they get down, but one important thing to remember is that if they bleed out, you can't use this Gobblegum to bring them back from the dead. You have to use it while they're in the down state, and we're going to see an example here of me reviving 2 teammates at once with this Phoenix Up. So cool. I love it when people aren't used to the effect of this one and they're like, hey, what just happened? I just got revived. Here you're seeing from my teammate's point of view here. So he gets down and he had 6 perks at the time, which would have really sucked for him to lose all of those at once, especially since he has to go back and buy, you know, jug and everything again. But when the Phoenix Up revives him, you'll see that he has all 6 perks back again, ready to go. So yeah, it's a really awesome Mega Gobblegum to have. It's a fairly rare one, but also very useful for co-op play. Our next Mega Gobblegum is called Pop Shocks, and this auto-activates when you melee attack zombies. You get 5 activations, and what happens with this one is melee attacks trigger an electrostatic discharge, which electrocutes all zombies in the small area of effect. So here's an example at round 21. We've got a full horde of 24 zombies, and you can see here we're able to take them out in 4 melee attacks using this Pop Shocks. I really love the little picture for Pop Shocks, by the way, on the Gobblegum. It kind of looks like the zombies are having some sort of rave or party or something. But anyway, there you go. So it seems to take out about 6 zombies per attack, which is pretty awesome. But the other really amazing thing with Pop Shocks is you can actually take out a Magua in 1 hit with the combat knife if you have Pop Shocks activated, as you can see here. While I was testing this, I was like, oh my god, did that just happen? Did I just kill a Magua with the combat knife using Pop Shocks? So it is pretty amazing and really powerful, really useful as well. I really love this Mega Gobblegum. Alright, let's move on to the next. The next Gobblegum we're looking at is called Respin Cycle. Now, this gives you 2 activations and it allows you to respin the weapons in the mystery box. So if you don't like the weapon that you get the first time, you can respin it and try for a better random weapon the second time. Similar to what you were able to do using the giant in the map Buried, if you fed him candy. Candy Gobblegum, huh? Similarities, eh? So yeah, I guess this is useful, and I do see people slotting this one in their Gobblegum loadout. However, you only get 2 uses out of this. You still have to spend the initial $9.50 for the box hit anyway, and you just don't know what you're going to get with the next weapon. So really, Immolation, Liquidation, the Gobblegum we looked at earlier in this video, which gives you 3 activations and spawns a fire sale, is going to do the same thing much better and cheaper for you in the long run. So probably not the best Gobblegum due to the fact that there are better ones out there that do the similar thing. Next we have Unquenchable, and what this Mega Gobblegum does is it auto-activates when you have maximum perks, and it enables you to buy an extra perk. So basically in maps that have a perk limit of 4, such as the Giant for example, say you have 4 perks already and you want to get a 5th perk, say Stamina Up or something like that, well if you pop this Mega Gobblegum you'll be able to buy an extra perk, and I guess you could use it more than once to get a 5th, a 6th perk, etc. So that's a pretty cool effect and definitely a valuable Gobblegum to have. Our next Gobblegum is another power-up spawning one called Who's Keeping Score, which you can activate twice and will spawn a double points power-up. So double points is one of the more useful power-ups that you can get, especially early on in the game when points are super important if you want to get set up early. So as you can see here in this footage, if you do happen to get that Gobblegum here on round 1 in Shadows of Evil, you can actually get a ton of points on round 1, combined with knifing all the zombies, and that will enable you to open up all the districts and get things started nice and early. So yeah, quite useful and a fairly decent Gobblegum. Another similar kind of Gobblegum, and our first rare Mega Gobblegum, is Cashback. And this gives you only 1 activation, but that 1 activation allows you to spawn a max ammo, the most important power-up you can get in zombies for the higher rounds. The trouble with this is, while it is quite powerful, the Alchemical Antithesis, the free Gobblegum that you can get by ranking up, actually has 2 activations, and depending on which weapon you use, does pretty much the same thing, making it even more powerful than this one. So a great Gobblegum, but probably not as useful as the Alchemical Antithesis equivalent with the classic Gobblegums. Anyway, you can always slot both, am I right? Okay, another power-up spawning Gobblegum called Killjoy is next. This is a rare Mega Gumball as well. It gives you 2 activations, and you can use these activations to spawn an insta-kill power-up. I'm not too sure why they made this one a rare Mega Gumball and double points was only a regular Mega Gumball, but anyway, it does as advertised. You can spawn the insta-kill and then kill zombies. Super easy and super fast. What's not to like? Alright, up next is a really useful Mega Gumball. This is also a rare Mega, and it's called On the House. What this does is it gives you 1 activation where you can spawn a free perk power-up. Now what's interesting about this is not only does it give you a free perk, and it gives you a free perk on top of the other perks that you have, which enables you to have more than the perk limit on each map, but it also provides the free perk not just to yourself but to all of your teammates as well at the same time. How awesome and useful is that? This is a really powerful Mega Gumball, definitely worth having if you have enough of these to use. Another excellent rare Mega Gobblegum is Wall Power, and what this does is it auto activates the next time you buy a weapon off the wall, and when you buy that next weapon, it comes Pack-a-Punched. How awesome is that? This can be used really effectively in some strategies where you might not want to unlock the Pack-a-Punch machine, or you might want to leave the power off, for example, but you still want a Pack-a-Punch gun. This will enable you to get that Pack-a-Punched weapon. So, for example, in the Giant, there's a strategy which involves leaving the Teleporter C door shut, which means that you can't Pack-a-Punch. So this enables you to get Pack-a-Punch weapons by slotting this Mega Gobblegum. Also, the same thing applies that I mentioned before with the Ephemeral Enhancement Gobblegum. If you have double Pack-a-Punch the weapon before, then got rid of it in that game, and then immediately get it back, using this particular wall power Gobblegum, it will still have the special ammo that you had the last time, if you know what I mean. So that is one way to get the upgraded ammo using this particular Mega Gobblegum. Alright, on to the next one. So this is the first of only 2 ultra rare Mega Gobblegums, and this one is called Killing Time. You have one activation with this one, and what it does is really interesting. When you trigger this one, all zombies freeze in place for 20 seconds, during which time, if you shoot any of the frozen zombies, as soon as the 20 seconds is over, they'll instantly be destroyed. So you're seeing me use it here to safely revive a teammate and stuff like that. I'm just going to say though that this is definitely the most epic looking effect I've seen in Black Ops 3 Zombies so far. Like, it doesn't just freeze all the zombies in place, it freezes time itself, so all of the particle effects, the snowflakes are frozen as well for that full 20 seconds, which is incredible. In terms of being actually practical and useful in gameplay, it's kind of overkill in some ways, and in other ways there are other Gobblegums that do certain things better that you could use this for. Like reviving teammates, Phoenix Up is better. Getting out of a sticky situation you could use in plain sight or anywhere but here instead. But just in terms of how awesome this is, I gotta say this is definitely one of my favorite Gobblegums. Probably not one that I would always slot though in my loadout. This is the effect that it has on the Gatekeepers and the Magua. It freezes them as well, which is interesting. I did shoot the Magua there and it didn't destroy him when the 20 seconds was over, but maybe I needed to shoot him in the eye or something like that, and I don't know. I didn't test it completely in every aspect, but it's still a really cool effect. I'm just not sure that the rarity of it makes it useful for actual gameplay. Alright, the time has come for us to take a look at the final Gobblegum, the ultra rare, the one and only, the Gobblegum that everyone wants to get when they trade in their liquid divinium in Dr. Monty's factory vats. And of course, I'm talking about Perkaholic. So what this does is, it activates immediately and it gives you all perks in the map. How awesome is that? So not just the 4 perk limit, every single perk that it is possible to get in the map, which is awesome. It doesn't apply to all teammates, however, it just applies to yourself, but who cares when you're getting all perks in the map, am I right? Okay, so now this video has to come to an end, guys, but I hope you have enjoyed this gameplay, taking a look at all of the different Gobblegums currently in Black Ops 3 Zombies. It took me about a week to put this video together, all my own gameplay, my own research and information as well, so I hope you appreciate that and drop a like rating if you have benefited from this video. Come and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and for now, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. Sleepy Jim out.